Hello, travelers! Welcome back to a brand new season of TNL Audio Stories. This time around, we will take you to the nooks and corners of the world with a magnifying glass in our hands, exploring hidden gems. Whether it's an untouched, never heard of a beach in a popular destination, or isolated villages hidden behind snow capped peaks, these travel stories will take you to lands far and away. So, get cozy, get that cuppa ready, and discover the undiscovered with us this year. There is a rack at Bhumi Cafe in Bir, Himachal Pradesh, that has clay and mud items lined for sale. Every time I visit to grab my daily cup of cold brew, I stop to admire this rack. On one such unbelievably hot afternoon last month, I stood transfixed gazing at a rather stunning candle votive holder. "You should visit Andretta," a soft voice addressed me. Diane, a 50-something dynamic woman, sat behind me with a bowl of shiitake mushroom and tofu rice in front of her and her dog Pippi under the table, enjoying a leisurely nap. She smiled and repeated the words, "Andretta is beautiful. You need to go there if you love pottery." A couple of hours, 3 cups of iced coffee, and a helping of carrot cake with mascarpone and honey dressing later, my head was filled with visuals of the eccentric village, located an hour and a half away from Bir. Diane had completed a basic 3-week pottery course from Andretta Pottery, a studio come homestay for anyone passionate and curious about this art form. She told me all about Mehrotra. That became the hub of vibrant culture in the early 1930s when an Irish origin woman, Nora Richards, reached there on horseback and made Andretta her home. She built it with mud, slate, bamboo, and a creative vision that still dwells there. Her house is preserved and maintained as is for students to visit, especially the ones at Punjab University where Nora was a respected fellow. Diane's words immediately sparked my imagination. I visualized a young widow who had traveled from Lahore, where her late husband, a professor, passed away. I imagined her traveling for miles on her horse to reach this untouched speck of our country that till date remains a mystery for many. I snapped back to reality by Pippi's happy barks. Yuvraj and Bhanvi, a couple from Gurugram, who had been living in the upper regions of Bir for 3 years now, had come to the cafe to pick their freshly baked oats sourdough bread. They joined our table while awaiting their takeaway. Upon learning about what we were talking about, they exclaimed that it would be a crime to be this close to Andretta and not visit. Within minutes of our conversation, I found out that they had spent a good 11 months in the Potter's village before moving to Bir. My curiosity levels rose, and the writer in me demanded more information. Andretta Pottery and Craft Society, I'm told, was started by Guru Charan Singh, the late Padma Shri awardee, thanks to whom the art of pottery reached masses in different parts of India. His children, who are as old as my grandparents, run it now, and I have stories from Nora's era that'll put all fairy tales to shame. In this vibrant neighborhood also lies the Mirage. The Mirage is a luxury property with quintessential mud architecture that houses a glass studio for yoga retreats and, well, no guesses here, pottery classes. Interestingly, the Mirage was owned by Nora's friend Jai Dayal. At this point, Bhanvi suddenly squealed to interrupt Yuvraj's rather scintillating narration with a quick fact. She noted that Jai Dayal was Prithvi Raj Kapoor's mentor. Interesting, isn't it? Yuvraj continued. The Mirage now belongs to Dennis, an artist from New Zealand who has also started the Andretta Arts Company for upcoming theatre artists. The space is the backbone of this tiny hamlet, complete with an open theatre, village walks, picnic lunches, and tales of artists who come from far and wide to be a part of this ecosystem. By this point, my mind was blown. I had zoned out, closing my eyes as everyone continued with chatter and jokes. Mentally, I was in Andretta. My heart refused to move on. Visuals of theatre practices, poetry recitals, 6-hour-long slashing sessions to cure the clay, running to the river to fetch water to soften the mold, discussing books over a meal of khichdi and rhododendron chutney, and sleeping in a mud house danced in my head. At once, I wanted to witness a place where art thrives, where it grows like creepers on century-old walls, where internet remains obsolete, where renowned Sobha Singh's artworks of Heer Ranjha hang at the local museum, and where life is celebrated. Right then at Bhumi Cafe, I decided that I would leave for Andretta the next day. I didn't know whether I would ace the pottery lessons or even if I could add anything of intellect to the conversations. But all I knew was that if I can spend time admiring a rack of utensils, admiring a village with multiple such beauties with the backdrop of the Dhauladhars, would be a different kind of high. That was another episode from a beautiful mountain village for you. Continue to discover the undiscovered right here with us at Travel+Leisure India. Stay tuned.